I remember one time I was speaking to a friend of mine who was studying life coaching, and she, in her studies, needed subjects to test her skills out on. And so I offered to be one of her um, training clients. And I was speaking to her a number of years ago, and I said, I feel like I've been slacking off with my meditation, and I have some resistance towards it. And I said, it's interesting because um, there are times when it's really easy for me. And often that's when I'm in a group or when I'm in a role like this where I'm leading people. But I said, I think I've started to develop this sort of unconscious association because I tend to call myself a meditation teacher, among other teachings that I offer. I think I have this association of, sitting to meditate as being my work or somehow something related to work. And so when I'm not in my Open Gate Sangha roles, I have this notion. This is what I was telling her at the time. This notion that I really don't want to meditate. And so she gave me this exercise, and you might try it on for size right now as I talk you through it. So she said, look out at the scene before you. In my case, it was look out the window. She had me look out the window. And so if you don't have a window nearby, you can just look into the space of the room and you can choose something that you're really drawn to. It just really speaks to you, something that feels perhaps nourishing or enlivening, resonant. And just take a moment to feel that out and feel what it is that speaks to you. And feel where it registers when you feel that it speaks to you. How does it make you feel? Does it make your body feel more open or more settled or more bright? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel relaxed? And then when you feel ready, you can just keep, you can just keep that with you, and then also look out at the window or the space around you, and just look and see if there's anything that you- you're less drawn to, or even a little bit turned off by. Just something that just doesn't feel very resonant. Something like if you could subtract it out of the space, it would be the thing that you would pick. And so then what you can do is you could, it may not work so well with the Zoom, I mean, the YouTube broadcasting, but you could see, like, imagine that you have the first thing that you love in your left hand and the thing that you don't care for in your right. And then you were just going to let yourself be with those. And the example of the exercise that this friend of mine did with me when she was doing her coaching exercise, she had me get up and asked me if it was possible to bring the thing that I loved next to the thing that I was, less fond of or had an aversion to. And so I was drawn to this trailing green plant that was outdoors. And I was not drawn to this black iron chair that was very hard. And so I brought the chair right in front of the hanging green plants. And I sat in the chair. And as I sat there, the challenge she put before me is, what is your direct experience of the thing that you had this idea that you don't care for? What's your direct experience of it? And what's it like to just be without that direct experience, without resistance? And so as I sat in that black chair, I'll share what I experienced was I was, like, really grateful for this chair. I felt like it was sturdy, it was strong, it was supporting me, it had me, and it was holding me. It's like, it's got me. And I was feeling grateful for the chair. And, I realized that it was quite helpful in helping me sink into a kind of outdoor meditation, which was kind of ironic given the topic that I had brought forward to her, the dilemma I had. Um, and so once I took the idea of sitting out of this idea of formal meditation and I ended up sitting in this outdoor setting with this greenery nearby and this nice solid chair, I really realized how much I was so grateful for that opportunity to just sit and be. And she said, so just stick with that in the weeks to come. Just stick with how your direct experience is really different than your mind's idea of something. And often, maybe not always, but often our direct experience of something isn't as bad as our mind makes it out to be. And so there's a way that we can bridge these dualities that can tend to create a push and pull in us. Oh, I want this, I don't want that. But when we allow both sides of ourselves to be, like in the example of holding something in your left and right hand, if it's not easy to get up and, be near something and experiencing it close, like you might have picked something way up in the ceiling and don't have a ladder to get up there. But when you just hold the sensation of how this thing makes you feel and how that thing makes you feel, and you just allow yourself to be a human being with varying sides and varying facets to your experience and just allow them all to be present. A curious thing that can happen in that space of allowance is there's this kind of harmonization that can happen. Sometimes the thing that we're more resistant to almost feels the presence of what we delight in and is somehow influenced by it. Maybe there's a resistance to something, but in the presence of the other hand holding a sense of peace or ease or well being, the part that resists or struggles starts to feel that well being. And so the other interesting thing that happens when we allow opposites to both be as they are and be present is we also get this sense of the very space in which duality arises.